frickin' truth. What is up, my little pumpkins? My name is Pirate, and welcome back to another episode of Everything Wrong With, where this is going to be a new thing on my channel where I help out CinemaSins. So this is my favorite movie. Actually, I just got done editing the video, so I hope you guys like it. Yeah, here it is.
生きるリバサイガスの吹き溜まりはまちまったやつほど口変わりここじゃ成功ってやつは雲隠れ俺たちの未来と空の色はグレー常に空気変わりし水もダメ喘息が蔓延して身が持たね
Why is this intro so long? Please tell me, because I want to know.
玉も逃げ出したいねなら口残すこの目しか見れない経験数々な生活できない選択全てが窮屈でも唯一の本でも唯一の本じゃなく名前だけこの決意に甘えはね
First of all, 10 sins for even thinking of sinning this movie.
Dang, dude, 10 sins for sinning a dang movie that you're trying to unsin? My God, that deserves 5 sins on you. Jesus.
Second, this is how it is, huh? You dropped this video the same week Mortal Kombat 11 and Avengers Endgame dropped. I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to kill me. You were thinking I wouldn't have time, but I'm gonna keep it G real. Today I got time, cuz.
What did you say? I'm so confused. Something about Mortal Kombat coming out? And Endgame? Okay. 1 sin on you.
58 seconds of into the Logoverse.
Yeah, but these logos are supremely clever and give the audience something interesting to look at while also tying into the plot.
Yeah, but it's a little extra to have 53 seconds of into the Logoverse. So, sin counter, count 'em up.
Alright, let's do this one last time.
Clever narration harkening back to almost every superhero reboot having to have an origin story is still f***ing narration, and it's still a f***ing origin story, so double sins.
Jeremy is not only sinning something he likes, he's also sinning satire. And if we're to believe CinemaSins' fanboys who come here to bitch at me for sinning CinemaSins because, apparently,
there's satire.
Okay, so that's some beef that you guys have. I'm gonna leave that alone.
sinning satire is a sin.
I'm a comic book, I'm a cereal, did a Christmas album.
At this point, can we make meta humor a sin? Because it feels like we should be able to.
CinemaSins would be excellent at The Birdman.
Also, why are the generic cereals always ending with O's? Especially when Spidey Snacks, Spidey Flakes, and Spidey Grams are still on the table.
Disregarding, for the moment, the fact that Cheerios are America's most popular cereal and would therefore make anything ending in O's immediately sound very cereal-like, why would anyone in their right mind name a cereal Spidey Snacks? That sounds like a Gushers ripoff, not a damn cereal.
I would name it Spidey Snacks. Possibly even Spidey Flakes. It's always something with O's at the end. Literally always. It would be nice for a nice change. So, CinemaSins, you are right on this one. I'm gotta side with you. So, yeah.
Because the only thing standing between this city and oblivion is me.
Frighteningly, roughly 11,000 New Yorkers say this to themselves every morning, including but not limited to the mayor, the DA, random aggressive cops, deluded artists, corrupt hot dog vendors, and Howard Stern.
Oh, a lame joke that has nothing to do with this film and only serves to pad the runtime and sin count. Comedy and satire.
You'll see why I'm adding this sin right here later.
Sony headphones is only the first of many Sony product placements in this otherwise artistically original film.
Hate to be a grammar Nazi, but because you didn't capitalize headphones, the word is being used incorrectly here.
Wow, hypocrite.
Future Birdman, tell him what he's won! Do I really have to do this?
Do your fans need to sit through this skit?
Will you just do the thing? I'm trying to make the video at least 10 minutes. I'm trying to include you in this video because of the whole alternate reality concept.
Again, hypocrite much?
I think it's gratuitous, but whatever. Jeremy, you've won 5 sins. Get it?
Look, I get this is the style of animation that the movie is using to make it stand out, feel more authentically like a comic book or whatever. But that doesn't make it any less irritating that the first time I saw this, I spent 20 minutes of the movie trying to figure out if it was on purpose, or if the theater employees were too busy jerking off in people's popcorn.
Skip. Ugh.
And even when I realized it was on purpose, I then spent 20 more minutes trying to figure out why my popcorn tasted a little extra salty.
I said skip, damn it.
That's actually really funny. I'm mad innocent because you didn't think it was funny. You know what I am.
I want to hear it.
You want to hear
I
me say
love
it?
you, Dad.
Hilarious moment, and it shows how much he loves Miles. But it also devastates Miles' reputation at this school.
Which do you think is more important? The love and respect of family, or the petty bullying of kids who will be pot-bellied fast food workers in about 15 years?
Yep, pot-bellied fools running a weird shack thing that you said earlier at an advanced school. Totally works out, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, bet you thought I forgot about that, Marcus Addy, you son of a bitch. Look at me now, and look where you are, you scum-sucking, ball-gargling, 2-bit booty-juggling.
Again, I do not like your stupid, whatever they are, scenes.
He's got some repressed memories popping up right now. Let's just go to the next scene.
What is up with these cones in this unused closest lane? People are dropping kids off in lane 2, outside the cones. Are we just shutting down lanes of traffic this morning because it goes near a school?
Always begging for some hot Cheetos. Where's my hug? Looking son of a one-eyed prairie dog. Oh, the cones are there to obviously block off the annoying-ass parents who think it's okay to park in loading zones to drop off their kids, which is why the curb is painted yellow.
I'm going to keep the sin count the same because I'm going to add a sin because of the stupid scene again. But I'm going to subtract the sin because that is actually really true.
This 5 seconds of montage alone should convince every American that we are putting too much pressure on our young students. Christ.
This is something I wholeheartedly disagree with. America is middle of the pack in education amongst developed countries, which would explain the rise of the imbeciles that think water isn't wet or that the earth is flat. If you really want to make America great again, it starts with getting them to care about school again.
Yes, but for me, it's kind of a mixture of both. Don't pressure students really hard to learn something they're not going to use. I mean, we don't use, all the stuff we learn from school in real life. So I'm not going to add a sin. I'm actually going to take one away. So, there we go. Sin gone. Bye.
I don't think I've seen you before.
Since we find out this Gwen Stacy is from another universe, how exactly did she get into this prestigious private school? It doesn't factor in at all to her mission or reason for being there. Why would she even try to get in?
Well, if you actually paid attention to the film, Gwen specifically states that her spider sense is what led her to the school.
Yes, but at the same time, how the frick would she get in? Being 100% honest, I think school requires a registering of a parent or guardian with you. So, how would she get in again?
Cool.
My spider sense told me to head to Vision's Academy. Wasn't sure why until I met you. Oh.
Jesus Christ, is it possible to have too many references to Spider-Man in a Spider-Man movie? This movie is pointing a pretty big arrow to yes.
Jeremy thinks you can have too many references to Spider-Man in a Spider-Man movie.
Yes, but why?
Find that girl. We walk up to her and be like, hey.
You serious, Uncle Aaron?
Do not do this. This is tragically bad advice.
I mean, only if she had blue hair.
Okay, now what are either of them talking about?
My biggest problem with this time-lapse is that Miles' roommate apparently needs 2 PC screens, a separate laptop, and a phone, all operating at once, at 3 in the morning. This guy is either mining Bitcoin or he's mining Bitcoin.
Or he's sinning CinemaSins.
Somehow, Miles' sticky spider hands rip a sticky spider hand-shaped amount of her hair off her head. And no one is going to question the stickiness of Miles' hands. I know why she isn't, but everyone else should be really curious about what's going on here.
So we're just going to ignore the copious amount of people that are really curious about what's going on here?
I literally see no one in the entire movie because I've watched this movie 3 times. Literally no one ever asks about it afterward. So, maybe don't make that a sin?
How exactly did he get all of Gwen's hair from the previous shot off of his hand?
But he didn't? I mean, you can see the hair. It's right there. I mean, it's in the movie.
Being 100%, I didn't even notice that. So 1 sin taken off.
How is it possible that Gwen is the only one looking up at this moment to see this?
What indication does the film give you that Gwen is the only one that sees this? Could it be that the film is simply only giving you her perspective?
Could make it to a couple more, can see him, I don't know.
Why is this happening? Please stop sticking.
Convenient comic book page placement is convenient.
Convenient isn't the word you want to use here. Purposeful. There you go.
Where did the Green Goblin even go? It's not as if Spider-Man incapacitated him. He just swung down to help Miles.
I'm not sure if this is a blatant lie or just a case of not paying attention, but the Green Goblin definitely got incapacitated. I mean, he's right there.
Is that f***ing Tombstone? God, I love that this movie is bringing out these great underrated characters like Tombstone and the Prowler and putting them on the big screen for the first time.
Actually, the Prowler was in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Look at the center lines of this road and then the cars parked along the right. There is no room for cars to drive in this lane, which means this street is too f***ing narrow or else all these cars are about to get towed for parking illegally.
Jeremy, this is an art technique called perspective. Even if it weren't, these kinds of streets are literally a thing.
Yeah, I think it's a Banksy.
Banksy.
In a movie that revolves around art, sinning Banksy.
Okay, I gotta read these comics so I can learn how to be a Spider-Man, so definitely the best place for that is a dark alley.
Jeremy thinks this is dark.
Okay, look, if they buried Spider-Man in a public cemetery, and they allowed people to visit it and drop off trinkets and flowers, then A, it would still be f***ing overrun with people, since he literally just died, and B, there would be way the hell more trinkets and flowers here.
Not even Michael Jackson's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame got that many trinkets and flowers, so no, I'd have to say this is a hell of a lot.
Yes, but this is a superhero. There's different things.
She wanted kids and it scared me.
As it f***ing should. Who knows what that spider DNA mixed with human DNA would give birth to?
I know what the spider DNA mixed with human DNA would give birth to. Mayday Parker, aka Spider-Girl. Pick up a f***ing comic.
2 things. Number 1. Are we talking about that Parker? Or Spider-Man? Woman? Number 2. Excuse me, but, it's a guy who is a superhero. I would be afraid as well. So...
This whole sequence is fun and neat to look at. I mean it, but it's just covering up a super dump of exposition.
Jeremy sends something he likes cliche.
Look at this data.
Okay, just a second ago, this is how far above Kingpin the vent was. Then Miles bumps into Peter, Bob's your uncle, and now they're 3 times closer?
This is obviously a different section of the ventilation system. Jesus.
Inserting clip here, and done. Now, watch what actually happens.
Peter! Peter!
What are you doing here?
Kingpin's here. Just move over.
Come on, you're stepping on my foot.
Go
Back outside.
No! I can't sit there and just let Spider-Man die without doing anything about it. I'm not doing that again. What?
Most people I meet in the workplace try to kill me, so... You're a nice change of pace.
Mr. Pitts.
Look at this data.
Notice how he didn't fall at all? Yeah. Sit on.
Obviously, you've been glitching.
Glitching? No.
Well, someone saw Wreck-It Ralph.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the film cliche.
Wow. Hypocrite much? Again?
Let me tell you the good news. We don't need the monitor.
They told me about the visuals, they told me about the voice work, they even told me about the fresh original story, but they did not prepare me for how funny this was gonna be, and that's a sin for they.
Jeremy sends something he likes cliche.
Who did that?
Spider-Gwen Ex Machina.
You want to know how I got these scars?
From me watching this video, yes.
Long after the dust has settled and the newness is worn off, people will still regard this film as fucking fantastic. But I personally will still be trying to point out to people how it's like 25% expositional character introductions, because I'm a dickhead.
I don't know if I should remove a sin for him acknowledging that he's a dickhead or give him a sin because he knows he's a dickhead and doesn't try to improve. Let's flip a coin. Guess what came up?
How about a sin for sin?
My spider sense told me to head to Vision's Academy. Wasn't sure why until I met you.
But since Gwen was in the class Miles showed up late for, that means she was there before he was bitten by the spider. So why would her spider sense tell her to go there? Do these abilities spider sense destiny now?
Wait, so you're just going to ignore the fact that Gwen has answered your earlier sin about why she went to the school? Jeremy feigns ignorance cliché. Also, spider sense is a precognitive ability. Precognitive means it has the ability to predict the future. It's not just for danger, as I've been telling you normies since my Spider-Man Homecoming video.
I'm not sure how this action prevents Tombstone from still shooting the guns at Liv, since they're still clearly pointed at her.
They're actually not still clearly pointed at her, as you can see from this shot.
Wrong shot, honey.
You might need these.
If the other spider people have been here the whole time, then why is the spider sense just now lighting up?
Probably because a character is about to introduce themselves. This is consistent with what they've shown earlier when Miles and Dead Peter's spider sense activated because they were in close proximity.
I just washed my hands. That's why they're wet. No other reason.
Well, we finally got to a joke in this movie that falls completely flat for me. He might be a real canonical character, but this is like Popeye showing up in the middle of The Incredibles.
This is one of those times where CinemaSins demonstrates that these are simply the opinions of Jeremy, and that this isn't satire at all. It's real criticism, and it's also bad criticism, as just because a joke fell flat for you doesn't mean it fell flat for others, and therefore isn't a sin of the film.
But it is a sin for you and I, right?
Sometimes I let matches burn down to my fingertips just to feel something, anything.
This Noir, Penny, Ham introduction sequence feels like one of those SNL sketches.
Not acknowledging the amazing job Nick Cage does in this film.
Are we talking about Nick Cage or the introduction of spider people?
Look, I made a promise, so I have to keep it.
Promises to dead people aren't all that important, man.
Excuse me, what the fuck?
And I was on your side.
Can you swing and flip with the grace of a trained dancer?
Do your ears hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie them in a knot? Can you tie them in a bow?
No, it's do your balls hang?
Actually, it's you put it in too slow.
Come on, Miles, get up. You need to be more honest with yourself about this.
After a test that lasted less than 2 minutes? At least give him a day.
Miles has demonstrated a failure to control his abilities this whole movie. The fact of the matter is, he's just not ready. I mean, they would know.
Alright, you got a point there.
The one thing I will always never understand about these parallel dimension films is the insistence on having everything be the exact f***ing same, with maybe one word change. Like that red X truck in the background. Red X? Really?
That is literally the point. Miles' universe is the alternate universe, and these are the kinds of things that make it an alternate universe.
Yeah, but be more creative with it. It's literally only red X. You could have come up with RE Dex or something, or probably flipped it around and did X Fed. I don't know. Made something better. I don't know.
You gotta go, man.
This movie rules, but literally everything in it is happening too fast.
Jeremy, yet again, sends something he likes. Cliché.
No, Miles. I'm sorry. You're on your way. Just keep going.
Does every incarnation of Spider-Man have to lose a beloved uncle?
No. I mean, there is a story where Uncle Ben becomes Spider-Man. Not joking.
Do I even need to say it?
What about MJ?
Well, that new documentary really did a number on his popularity. And honestly, you meant Mary Jane, right? Well, several states have legalized it, and 24 have made it legal for medicinal purposes. But there's still a long way to, you meant Mary Jane the person, didn't you?
Considering that Michael Jackson documentary was complete and utter bullshit, and no one Miles' age refers to weed as Mary Jane, you padding the sin count, bro?
I'm so confused that I'm going to take a sin off.
Look, I know how much you want this kid.
All these spider dicks teaming up to prevent Miles from taking part in the climax because they want to protect him? Assholes!
Why? They are literally trying to keep him from getting himself killed. That is what superheroes do. Again, up until this point, he hasn't shown a mastery of his abilities, so they're doing him a favor.
This is a fun figuring out the powers scene, but there is a timetable, right? You're telling me he's had time to get to Aunt May's, spray paint the suit, let it dry, and do this montage before they could get to the collider and send everyone home?
How long do you think it takes spray paint to dry, especially when sprayed on fabric, and especially when being air dried from web slinging?
Yes, but again, time. Also, Isn't he literally, like, rubbing all of the ink off onto his jacket?
Are they still taking the bus just for comedy now?
Yes.
This. CinemaSins is satire. CinemaSins is only telling jokes.
This is kind of fun and all, but it's just Yoda fighting Dooku, right?
You and I remember the Yoda-Dooku fight very differently.
One of the movie's only problems is sometimes leaving viewers with a bad case of what the f just happened-itis.
The viewers? Nope, I think it's just you.
And me, don't forget about me, because I noticed this stuff too.
Miles letting go of Peter here after both have finally understood their purpose? It won't be, but that was the superhero moment, not whatever ass-beating Miles does after this.
Seriously, Jeremy sends something he likes cliche.
I am literally right here! I mean, come on!
Okay, let's do this one last time, yeah? For real this time.
If we have to.
And we do, as this is the film being consistent with its running gag.
Possible cannibalism.
Except Spider-Ham is actually eating human meat. You heard me right.
Sometimes I just think he isn't listening to what he says before he says it. Okay, I'm sorry, but 69, that's funny. Oh my god. That was a really weird, wild ride. But that was the video, and I hope you liked it, and I liked it, because I know that you guys have to like it, and if you don't like it, I'll come for your kids, and then I'll take your kids. So, yeah, I gotta go. But I'm gonna leave you with Pikachu. Pikachu! Pikachu! Freaking my guys! Ooh. Pikachu! Yes, I am crazy. To mention this, I'm near my bathroom because I'm actually going to go take a shower right now. 26 sins, my guys. 26 of them. Guess not all people can be perfect.